Hi everyone, this is Kay. I am one of the top Boggle players on the website boojumgames.com, and I'm here to show one of my games. So we're going to start the game here. I'm not going to try and comment because I think that it's going to be a little tough, but I do want to provide some thoughts about how I personally play this game after this. But for now, look at me go. I also want to share too that I think part of what makes a game worth replaying is not necessarily how well I do in this particular game. I think it's more about trying to show off places where I'm disciplined because I think we can rely on our reflexes when we are able to access a good board. But I think what's going to help us a lot in either boards that are not positive for us or boards that are so good that we need to extract every single advantage we can. I think discipline is what makes a big difference. So I think this is a game where I have at least enough of that to be able to reference a bit. But yeah, in the meantime, though, I was wondering about just more about the history of this game and the different ways that perhaps this place as a community is starting to come together too. Maybe I've missed out on some stories, but it would be really cool if I got to publish them here on this channel for the meantime. But if you guys have any thoughts, if you guys have any stories about Boggle in your guys' lives, or just not even necessarily about the game, just like outside stuff too. I think that would be awesome to hear just as I come to get to know you guys too. Okay, quick summary of the game. That is a decent score, I'd say. For a 3,000 point board, I'd say getting a third of it is reasonable. But I think the biggest thing and the reason why I chose this game was because I was trying to think ahead as I was playing this game. The biggest thing is trying to think ahead while you're swiping your words. That way you can force in as many words as you can and hopefully get more time so that you can have those down periods. I don't think that down periods are anything to be ashamed of. I think that the quicker you can get to that point where you've exhausted all of your active words, the quicker you can get to the point of searching for new words using just random guessing in this case. But I can explain a bit more about how I guess improves with the board later. A couple of the bigger words that are a part of my vocabulary that I noticed I missed were namely and golem. Otherwise, I think that I managed to get a majority of the words that were in my personal vocabulary specifically. We'll try and keep it quick, but I am going to replay through part of this round, and we're going to take a look at the strategies that I employ and the way that I think about the board. Okay, so just looking at the board first, we're obviously going to look for the Boojum tile, the green tile first, because that doubles your word value. There's also the Snark tile that doubles the letter value specifically, but I don't always remember to look for those. I probably should be doing it, but I'm not always doing it. What first comes to mind is what are the tiles that are going to be at least right next to the green tile. I'm going to be looking at all the adjacent tiles because any words that are formed with those tiles are likely to at least be close to the green tile, if not outright using it. At this point, I was searching for words that use the M, but I should have been able to go to somewhere else because I was just guessing and I didn't have any words that I recognized. I should have instead moved on to the words that I do recognize, and then I could have saved more time and revisited the M when I could. Okay, now I'm out of words. Now I'm guessing. But when I'm guessing, I use the color code to find out which words work, and I can slowly and sequentially progress down the line. I think Lime has mentioned using something like this, and I'm sure that many other players still use this too. But for people who don't know, you can tell using the different colors of the tiles whether or not there's still a word that works. This is where we start using our knowledge of prefixes. If you know a prefix, then what I would do is I trace over that prefix. And if it turns yellow, that means that there are some words that use that prefix, or at least start with it. So I'll start guessing with that letter sequence until it hits green. But once that prefix hits red, that means that there are no more words that use that prefix. I'll keep going down the line with every single prefix I can think of, or just sometimes the highest scoring letter that I can think of. Okay, so now I'm looking at all the words and I'm scrolling through it. And what I find helpful is just trying to find maybe new words that are just a letter off from a word that you do know. And if you can remember those, then that can help you to string sequences of words in future boards. Another thing that I look at when I'm facing other people specifically is their vocabulary. What words are they getting? Because some of the words that we learn, some of the words that the board has, they're not going to be ones that I think I will humanly be able to recognize. But the words that another human manages to get, or even just guess, I feel like that is something that I can more realistically integrate into my own vocabulary. Again, I'm lazy. I don't always do this, but if you're trying to get better, this is one of the steps that you can take. All right. Hey, thanks for listening. And I hope that this can help. But if you're looking for Boggle, any kind of activity, I think that we have some wonderful people over at Boojum who would love to meet you. If you can beat any of them, go ahead and be my guest. All right. See you there.